This is a scene from Here Come the Waves with Betty Hutton, Bing Crosby, and Sonny Tufts. Betty, this is the only picture you made with Sonny Tufts.
Yes.
He was a local boy. I mean, he was born right here in Massachusetts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes, he didn't hang around Hollywood. He was very wealthy in his own right, and he just was like a playboy, and he wasn't too serious about making pictures. At least he wasn't when I knew him. And that's the only one I made with him, so I don't know him too well.
Apparently, Sonny Tufts, I don't mean this disrespectful, but he was always a big joke in Hollywood, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, they'd say, Sonny Tufts.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what that originated from, except he used to drink a lot, you know, and we'd kind of wait on the set wondering, was he going to show up? Because he wasn't serious about his career, but he was a nice guy. He just wasn't too interested in being a star, you know.
Too bad.
Yeah.
Betty, you started out with Vincent Lopez, didn't you?
Right.
As a singer. You and your sister Marion.
When I was 13.
Oh, your wonderful sister Marion.
I won an amateur contest in Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah.
And part of the deal was that I would take my mother and my sister with me with the band because we were dead broke, and I thought, now's the time to get us out of Michigan, you know. So I went with the band, took my sister, and then Glenn Miller was just starting out then, and she went on one night. He came to see me, and we decided to put her on because we wanted to get her with the band. And that night she went on and she did all my numbers.
And that happened right here in Boston, didn't it?
Ritz-Carlton Roof.
Yes.
That's right,
yes,
The Roosevelt family used to come there and see me. And you weren't allowed to sit with the customers, you know, that would show people were not good enough. But they insisted. So my wonderful life started with them from the real pits of the world where I came from. Their governess started to teach me how to speak English, literally, you know. And when I sat down at the table, what all the knives and forks were for, I had a really wonderful time in Boston with them.
When you sang with Vince Lopez, the reports were that the band wasn't happy with you for a while because of your clowning around.
I wasn't happy with them either.
But something happened that changed the whole picture.
I was too scared, you know, when I first joined them to do my style, because I had never been in a big theater. He found me in a little dinky nightclub, you know, and I'd only performed in front of very small groups of people. And I'd get on the stage, I'd freeze. And then one night, the trombone player, Mike Durso, took me, I was going to get fired that night because I wasn't going over and they were getting too many complaints from the management. So he gave me a B&B, a Benedictine and brandy, a little tiny, 3. And I'd never had a drink in my life, even though I was around it, you know. And I went back on the stage, and I had a song called the Dipsy Doodle.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
The Dipsy Doodle, ba 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 ba. And I sang the chorus, and there was always 16 bars where the singer would sit down. Well, I didn't sit down. I picked Vincent up. He must have weighed a ton. And I swung around. I sat him down. I was going crazy on the stage. And that audience went wild. And I went off the stage, and Vincent came up and said, "Why didn't you do this before?" I was too scared. So from then on, the fear left, and I was able to do it without a Benedictine and brandy. And from then on, the style was born, you know.
From that,
from
humble beginnings.
Right, yeah.
In those days, they called you America's #1 Jitterbug. Was that true?
Well, no, I wasn't a dancer, but Walter Winchell, when he saw me at the opening of the Casa Mañana, he said, "I can't describe what she does, so we'll call her America's #1 Jitterbug." You know, I just moved a lot. I didn't want anybody to really catch on. I couldn't really dance.
Would have fooled me.
Yeah. So he called me the blonde bombshell, America's #1 jitter. The energy is what they couldn't explain, you know, because for a bow, I'd take the big curtain and swing on it and land in the middle of the stage. I would do different things every night, never the same. The opening night at the Casa Mañana, Orson Welles, he had just done that crazy show that scared the world, you know. And all the marvelous stars were sitting out there, and they just thought, this crazy kid. I was only 13 years old, you know.
That's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
Did you know any of the other female vocalists, Peggy Lee and Doris Day and so forth?
No, I didn't know them until I went to Hollywood because Doris Day was at Warner Brothers.
Yes.
She, not in the beginning, but she was like a little bit before me, so I don't really remember. She was not on Broadway, no, when I was around. Peggy Lee was in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah. Now, this is something I did not know, and I was told this just the other day, and I have to know if it's true or not. Did Doris Day actually replace you in Romance of the High Seas because of your pregnancy?
No, not at all. He was at Warner Brothers, and he wanted me for that picture. Paramount wouldn't let me go.
Oh, I see.
And so she didn't replace me, My sister auditioned for that picture and
Marion.
didn't get it, because when I couldn't do it, I told them to send for Marion, because I felt she was very similar to me, and they tried her out, but it didn't work out. Anyway, they hired Doris Day. Now, she didn't replace me because I didn't do it. We weren't loaned out at that time.
Well,
I wanted to do it. I really did.
Perhaps that was a bad choice of words, replace.
Well, no, that's been said before, but I never got there, so I couldn't be replaced.
Oh, that's just exciting.
Yeah.
Is your sister, Marion, still in the business?
No, she quit long. Marion didn't really like it that much. After Glenn died, he was killed,
Yes.
as you know. She just didn't do anything after that. She was a wife and mother. She's in Laguna Beach in California,
yeah.
Retired, yeah.
I'll never forget her rendition with the Maudeniers of Chattanooga Choo.
Right, wasn't she great?
That is so
yeah,
classic, isn't
wonderful,
it?
right.
Well, you played twins in Here Come the Waves, this picture tonight.
Oh, sure wasn't.
Yeah.
One wasn't enough. They had to have two. They made me the dramatic one and the screwball, as they called me then. Yeah, yeah.
I said earlier that you had played with a lot of top stars in Hollywood, and I want to talk for a moment about Fred Astaire.
Oh,
Tell me about him.
he's my favorite. I think of all of them. That man has talent. It's unbelievable, because he can take someone like me who had never danced. And in that picture, we rehearsed maybe 6 months for that epic dance I had to do. It was so patient and so kind and fun. And he'd always keep his hat on because he didn't have a lot of hair, you know. And I'd always kid him about that. So one day, I always wore yarn in my hair for rehearsal, and he had just a few hairs on it. So one day I came out, I was kidding about that, always having to wear his hat. And he took it off, and with the hairs he had taken the red ribbon and tied on each one for me. Marvelous, marvelous man. I loved him.
He said something very nice about you, and I wrote it down here, and I'd like to repeat it. He complimented you by saying, "Working with Betty keeps anybody moving. She's so talented and conscientious that if you don't watch yourself, you feel you're standing still and letting her do all the work."
Oh,
now, that's a tribute from a great man to
I didn't know
great lady.
Thank you, Guy. I didn't know he said that.
Well,
thank you very much. It's nice to know.
Betty, we're going to break for a commercial here, but we'll be back in just a moment.
Okay.